Once upon a time, in the mist-shrouded Isle of Britain, there lived a young boy named Martin. He was orphaned in his infancy, and he was raised by Sir Francis. Sir Francis was a tough but very kind knight. Martin was always full of life and curiosity, and he spent his days exploring the countryside, learning the ways of the woods and dreaming about grand adventures. And one sweltering summer day, a grand tournament was announced. Knights from across the land gathered to test their strength and valor, looking for the chance to pull a mysterious sword from a stone. The sword had been discovered many years ago, but to that day, no one had ever had the strength to claim it as their own. It seemed as though the sword would be stuck in the rock for eternity. Legend said the sword was enchanted and destined for a true king. Martin, fueled by his youthful dreams, longed to join the contest. But Sir Francis, fearing the dangers, wouldn't allow it. Martin wandered into the forest, his footsteps heavy with disappointment. However, the tournament was not a success. Many brave knights had made their attempt to break the sword from the stone, but none of them had had the strength to claim it and become the next king. After seeing so many people try and fail, Martin became determined. He thought to himself, if these knights cannot claim the sword, then what chances would I have? He would have to work harder and smarter than all of them. With a spark ignited in his heart, Martin worked tirelessly. He wanted to earn his opportunity. He studied hard every day, learning about history and leadership. He worked on his sword fighting skills, learning new techniques with Sir Francis. He started stone lifting to gain more strength and endurance. He began helping other people in need, doing anything he could to contribute to his community. And each day, he manifested that he would break that sword from the stone and claim it as his own. To Martin's disappointment, there was no tournament the following year. The country had given up on the dream that anyone would ever be able to have the strength to claim the sword as their own. And Martin was heartbroken. That night he was unable to sleep, thinking about all the hard work he had put in, the pain, the suffering, the late nights and early mornings, doing everything he could to gain just the opportunity. Martin pondered to himself, was it all just a waste of time? Lying in his bed, restless, he decided to take a walk and visit the sword in the stone. The stars were twinkling, the moon was bright, and it was a beautiful summer's night. Martin stood next to the weathered stone. The sword was glowing in the moonlight, and there was a plaque that read, "Whoever shall draw this blade shall be deemed the rightful ruler of Britain." Martin looked around and made sure no one was watching. He gripped the handle of the sword and pulled it with all his might. but the sword remained stuck. He tried again and again, each attempt met with unwavering resistance. Eventually falling to the floor exhausted, tears welled up in his eyes, and they were blurring the vision of the sword. Suddenly, a gentle hand rested on his shoulder. It was Sir Francis, the man who had raised Martin. Without him, who knows where Martin would be? "Young Martin," Sir Francis said, "I know you're upset, son. I know you have worked hard, training and helping others. You've come a long way, and you have learned a lot. Think about the man you are now in comparison to who you were a year ago today. Luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. And difficulties, they strengthen the mind as labor does the body. You can conquer the world by conquering yourself. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. And it is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows. The greater the difficulty, the more glory in achieving the goal. But strength alone is never enough. Seek not to conquer, but to serve. I'm proud of you, son." Martin pondered on Sir Francis's words. A realization dawned upon him. He knelt before the stone, not with the intent to claim the power, but to offer himself in service of his people. Closing his eyes, he drew upon the kindness and courage within. This time when he grabbed the sword, it moved with a newfound ease. The sword slid free, bathed in a blinding light. A young man had discovered his true path to leadership. Martin was filled with a newfound sense of purpose, but he was not yet proclaimed the king. With the sword in hand and Sir Francis by his side, he embarked on a journey to learn, grow, and prove himself worthy of the trust bestowed upon him. His adventures and his ultimate ascension to the throne were yet to unfold, but greatness surely awaits. True leadership is not about power and strength alone. It's about serving others, being prepared, and being open to learning and growth. It's about being the best version of yourself and using your talents and abilities to make a positive impact on the people around you. The end. Good night. Sweet dreams.